Hey everyone, Social Solipsist here for another week of 52 and 52. And this week I'm taking a look at GTA 5, which has been on my list for a while, really ever since the trailers came out, and it's been out quite a while now. I think about a year and a half. And it's just now that I got it, actually donated to me by a good friend of mine, Jebatron, whose channel is hilarious, and you should check out in the description. Um, and this is a great game. It really let's just start there. I have not been a great fan of GTA for a while. I feel like Vice City was the last one they really had that didn't take itself too seriously and didn't go too haywire, and really kind of delivered on what it sort of seemed to promise. The only other exception I think for me would be the DS entry, Chinatown Wars, which I maintain is sort of an underrated gem on that system, but I digress. GTA 5, I think, for me, is really a return to form in terms of making a really great open world game with a heck of a lot to do. And some of you may know me as a really big fan of Saints Row 3. And GTA 5 really delivers everything, pretty much everything I loved about Saints Row 3 and a whole lot more. Obviously, Saints Row 3 is a little more cartoony and whatnot. It doesn't take itself very seriously, and that's a lot of what I liked about it. And GTA 5, in contrast to some of the earlier entries like GTA 4 and San Andreas and a few of the other past entries, which really took themselves very, very seriously and were trying to tell a very cohesive narrative, I guess. Very, a moralistic tale, I suppose. GTA 5 kind of takes it a little bit looser. You play as these three separate characters, and they're all really interesting in their own right. They're well written. They're great characters on their own, not to mention being interesting parodies and pastiches of, what I would consider to be, modern pop culture, kind of the universe that we live in. And that's really, I think, what their intention was, and they really did an excellent job with it. I've played about a third of the story mode, and I'm really enjoying it thus far. It is a little shorter. I'm just going based off my completion percentage, but it is a little shorter than I expected it to be, but I'm not going to complain by any means. There's a heck of a lot to do in the world. The world itself is really built up, a beautiful open world. I would consider arguing for it being the best open world created thus far in video games. It really seems alive. You've got unique characters all over the place. You can walk down the street and not feel like you're GTA, or rather Saints Row 3. You walk down the street and you see a lot of the same people, and they're not doing anything interesting. They're just being people. They're cannon fodder, and that's fine. But GTA 5 really delivers in spades, with every nobody walking down the street being kind of unique. And you never know what you're going to run into in the world just as you're driving by. On top of all that, there's a lot of I hesitate to call them mini games, because they are full-fledged games within the game. I don't want to say this game suffers from Yakuza syndrome, but that's really the best way I can put it. Yakuza being a series that is well known for going above and beyond in delivering the in-game mini-games that are way too detailed for what they are, for things that are easily missable by probably 80% of players. Won't even look at them, but they go through with it. And in GTA 5, there's a ton of them. There's so many things you can do, not only side quests, but just little distractions. You can go play a round of golf, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I played 9 holes of golf with my brother in the multiplayer just because we could, and it was a great golf game. Bordering on par with a full-fledged, Tiger Woods PGA Tour, whatever game type of thing. It's not half-assed by any means. Same with tennis, a few other things. There are really a lot of things to distract yourself with if you really want to. Those options are out there. Now, with regards to the online, if you aren't aware of it already, the online is, well, it's an online community in a video game, in a popular video game. So naturally, it's going to be a bit of a shit show. That's not to say that it is without depth. There's definitely a lot to do. The multiplayer heists and things like that, not to mention a multitude of mini games, both fan created and released by Rockstar, and they do release stuff for free on a fairly regular basis. Unfortunately, like I said, the community's a bit of a shit show. Trying to get into just free roam and not get blown up or something like that is very hard to do, as it's the internet. People like to blow stuff up. And trying to complete something like a heist with anything other than people and who have done it before and can give you pointers on how to get stuff done is a mess. On top of all that, Rockstar has not been proactive at all in combating hackers, for lack of a better term, people who are using scripts in the game to trigger things that shouldn't happen. Just random crazy explosions, guns that shoot money or cars or deer, just random stuff that can happen because it hasn't been backed up. And granted, I don't know how much work that would take on Rockstar's part, but there are plenty of online universes I've seen that haven't been so plagued by something like this. And as I understand it, it's something that's a bit more limited to the PC realm than the consoles for the obvious reasons. But that doesn't really excuse it, especially when they are selling microtransactions for in-game money. Up to, I believe, $100 is, at least in U.S. currency. I think you can buy $100 worth of in-game money, which is quite a large amount of money, but still, big microtransactions for a universe that is as broken as that. So I will absolutely be playing a lot more of this. I'm sure I will replay the story. I don't know how much I will get out of the multiplayer. I'll certainly play it with friends. But as far as just popping into the multiplayer and just having fun by yourself, maybe not the best. Not the best experience, at least not in its current state on the PC. And something tells me if this is the state after a year and a half, it may not get a whole lot better. But like I said, it's worth the money, absolutely, just for the single player. I'm very, very pleased with it by all accounts, and I know I'm going to get a lot out of it. So again, thank you to my good friend Jevitron for donating this to me. He is a wonderful man, and you should go watch his hilarious videos via the link below. So that's been me, the Social Solipsist. This has been 52 and 52. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next week.